Go live, go live. Let's do it. Hello, everyone. It's Sab here. Sab in Paris. Just warming up. Here I am. Hello. How are you doing? Well, you're not doing because you're not watching, but you will in a minute, maybe. And I hope you're doing okay. Got a nice show for you tonight. No idea what I'm going to do, as usual. It's all spontaneous. I put this shirt on to kind of look okay, even if it is the same one as last week. I can't remember. And immediately feeling a little bit hot. So I might take it off again. But I've got another one on underneath. So as this has a bit of a time lag and takes people a while to see what's going on, I'll just sort of ramble for a while. You can say hello in the chat if you want to. We're here for 2 hours. You might only be here for 2 minutes. If you clicked on the link and you thought, oh my God, it's him, get me out of here. But otherwise, welcome to the rest of your evening or morning or the next 5 minutes or for however long you want to hang around. It's me checking in somewhere in the darkest, deepest outskirts of Paris in France. And I'm going to tell you about what I've been doing for the last week. What I haven't been doing. I haven't been doing this. See this thing here? This beautiful, amazing, fantastic thing here? Well, I haven't been practicing this. I haven't. All I can do is still just do the scale. That's all I can do. I can still just bong it. It sounds nice, and that's it. Oh dear. I have been playing with Xander's balls, though. Remember Xander's balls? I don't know if I told you, but I decided I would try and see if I could start juggling. By the way, I'll tell you what this is all about in a little while. I'm just talking to myself for the moment. Until anyone says hello, and then I'll talk to them. I decided after many, many years that all these people saying that juggling is good for you. Well, I decided to give it a go, and also decided to give it a go as an experiment to see if I could actually learn anything new at 54 years old. I mean, like a proper skill, not just read a book and vaguely, have read the book. I mean, literally something that I've never done before. Looking at me as I started, you'd think I would be absolutely crap. And I was wondering, could I actually get any good at it? So I was dropping every ball, like 100% failure rate. And then I tried to do a little bit every day. My idea was 9 minutes a day. One time I did 9 minutes a row, and then I thought, well, what about if I do 3 times 3? Because it would be even easier to do 3 minutes. And, the brain, it likes a bit of a break between doing a new thing, a bit of a break, and it's sort of thinking, that was a bit weird. What do I have to do that? Okay. And then you do it again, another 3 minutes, a few hours later. So little and often, basically. I think you know what I'm talking about. So I'm just gonna throw them. I don't have a sofa, that's the thing. Normally you're supposed to have a sofa here, so that when you drop them, I do have a yogurt pot though, so it could either fall in my yogurt pot or it could fall in my coffee. So I can do that, you see, dum, dum, and I can do dum, 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 dum. That was 5, Hey, that was 6, Oh my God, there's a certain panic involved. You wouldn't believe that this is actually physically exerting, would you? Oh my God, I'll stop there. That was 9. I've also got bigger balls. So that was 9. You see, 9. That's absolutely amazing. Because a few weeks ago, or even a few days ago, I was dropping them all. It was like 2. There's also this strange sense of panic about throwing the ball instead of trying to catch the one that's coming down. It's really strange. I've been trying to work out what's going on. So basically, you've got to throw one, right? So you throw one, okay, that goes up. And when that's in the air, you throw this one. So that's up there, that's there, all right? That's there, hang on. So that's gone up, then you throw this one, and when that one's up, this one is now coming down, and you're supposed to catch that. But the other one is in the air, and then you've got to catch that, like this. But the thing is, I believe the fear of dropping it, in other words, failing, is much stronger than the idea of throwing the next one. So basically, at the beginning, every single time there's a ball in the air, I tried to catch it instead of throwing the other one so that I caught it in an empty hand. So I'd rather go like this, you see, I'd go like that instead of do this and then catch it. So I reckon it's like not wanting to, like failure is a terrible thing, you know. Dropping the ball means you failed. So you do anything to stop dropping the ball, including not throwing the ball, which should be in the air for the other hand. That's kind of weird, isn't it? It's kind of interesting. This is a show where you ask me comments. No, you ask me questions and you give me comments. Or if you prefer, you can give me comments and ask me questions. Otherwise, I'm going away, okay? It doesn't work. But I will try and give you some stuff to look at and watch. So I'm kind of, I spent half my life. My name is 𝗬𝗏. I'm based in and around Paris in France. I've been here for over 25 years. And for all of that time, I've been creating stuff and on various levels and in various ways. And before, it's kind of in my blood. So basically what I do now is I spend half my life creating stuff. And I spend the other half of my life helping other people to create stuff that they would love to create. So that's it. That's my life. And it seems pretty good to me. I'm enjoying it and I love sharing it. So what I decided to do on a Sunday evening was talk about it and also talk about it with people who want to talk about it. So I don't want to just talk to myself. I don't want to just talk about my stuff, although I will, especially if no one asks me any questions. But what I want is for you to ask me questions about creativity, productivity, curiosity, the curiosities of life, and infinity, which is my name for life, the universe, and everything. And it's, I was going to share my screen. I was going to say it's nicely summed up in a website that I have, which is the only website I didn't line up. It's called lazypig.com. Ha! Lazypig.com. Isn't that cool? And I was such a lazy pig, it took me about 25 years after buying the website name to actually use it. That's how much of a lazy pig I am. How lazy are you? Are you lazy? Do you not like the word lazy? Do you think you have to be lazy in order to be productive later or to be creative? How do you get creative? Do you have a way? Is it by relaxing, by doing something else and then an idea comes to you? Or do you really try hard to get that idea? You know, it's going to come, come on, there it is. Oh, no. Well, you tell me, I don't know. So I'm going to share this screen with you. What am I doing here? Yeah, oh, that'll do. Yeah, so this is my lazypig.com website, and this is where it's a new one. And I'm trying to stop creating new websites and Facebook pages and groups. I'm really trying hard this year. So 2020, I don't know about you guys. What is 2020 for you? I'm throwing questions out there because I want you to answer them in the chat. To answer them so I can see them, you have to be on 𝗬𝗏 Paris, the 𝗬𝗏 Paris page, okay? So it says there, creativity questions, but it's questions about anything you like to do with what I just mentioned in the comments, but you have to be watching on facebook.com/𝗬𝗏 Paris, or I won't see your comments, and that would be a tragedy. Okay, so if you're watching on some other place, go to my personal profile, there, facebook.com/𝗬𝗏 Paris, and ask your questions there. Say hello for a start. That's all you have to do. Say hi, who you are and where you're from. And then start asking me some questions about creativity, productivity, infinity, which is life, the universe, and everything. I'm not going to answer them. I'm going to talk about them. I don't have any answers. And curiosities, which is the fun, weird, and wonderful side of life, which is, you know, good, because if life wasn't weird and wonderful, it would be a bit of a shame to be alive, I think. So that's kind of what I want you to ask me questions about. And indeed, I am writing articles, because if you click on one of these, you see, if I click on Productivity Bites, for example, you get to my, it's new, this site, but I'm already on to my second productivity bite, which is an article, actually. It's called, Psst, Wanna See My Credentials? And I don't know if you can guess what my opinion is of qualifications, but it's not very good. And in this article, I'm not criticizing them, you know, outright. I mean, if I go to a doctor, I want them to be a real one, for example. But in many cases, credentials, qualifications, certificates, blah, 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 diplomas, whatever, aren't worth the paper they're written on. The trouble is, I'm actually launching into my article here. This is my article. Look, how fun is that to read? You see? Wouldn't that be fun to read? So go to lazipig.com and read it after this. Look at that, you see? It's got funky pink subtitles and everything. Play with your balls. How's that for a subtitle? Have you ever written an article with the subtitle, Play with Your Balls? And I just did, didn't I? There you go. So that's me. All right, so yeah, I mean, basically, credentials and qualifications, they're very, very dodgy, if you ask me, very dangerous. And let me get rid of this. Did I get rid of this? Should I get rid of this? No, hang on. Yeah, I'll get rid of this. And I'll probably need to find it again later. Yeah, they're very dangerous because, for a start, if somebody, say you're offering a service, just in brackets, I have a student and he says, oh, in brackets, and then it lasts for about an hour and a half. But anyway, in brackets, I will tell you the theme of today, which obviously I've forgotten and I'm not talking about, but I will in a minute, which will set off the feeling for this today's 𝗬𝗪. But anyway, yeah, credentials are very dangerous because say you're offering a service like coaching or some sort of softer service, you know, where it's very, very personal. There's a lot of personal input and exchange and relationship stuff matters. And they ask you, and you've got a potential client, and they ask you for your credentials. They ask you for a qualification. They ask you where you studied, what you studied, who you studied with, when you studied. And it's very dangerous because what do you do? Because if you're providing a personal service, there's no qualification which says qualified, for example, me, qualified to coach in the style of 𝗬𝗪. You know, where is that university? There isn't one. And it's the same for everybody. So, you know, what does a qualification do? I mean, what does it say? Working with people is such a personal thing. There's no qualification for that. Okay, if you're teaching them a topic or you know you're working around some sort of method, fair enough. But the thing is, I often wonder, you know, you'd like a qualification. What sort of qualification would you like me to have? I mean, people don't really ask me this, but occasionally they have, you know. And I just wonder, what sort of qualification would you like me to have? What would really do it for you? You know, what would impress you? If I is there a particular, you know, university or school of thought that I could come out with, and you would think, oh wow, I want to work with this guy. And what about if I gave you the wrong one? If I gave you the name of a qualification which wasn't quite the strand of that particular, you know, area which you're the most impressed by? What if that isn't my qualification, if I have any? Would you think, oh damn, oh, all right, well, no, never mind, maybe another time, you know? And it's not about that, is it? It's not about that. So I'm not a fan of qualifications, not when they're used to impress others. So basically I say, if somebody would ever ask me for any sort of qualification whatsoever, I would say one thing. I would say, sure, I can show you what I've done this week. And for me, that's the only qualification that matters one iota, what I've done this week. I say week because in a day you might not have done much, but in a week, you should have done something, shouldn't you? And you should probably have done something on your area of passion or expertise or whatever. Because if you haven't, it's a bit strange, isn't it? Your passion, it should be something you can't stop doing, something you're not able not to do. So if you haven't done anything on that in a week, maybe it's not your passion after all. So I would just say, you know, you want my qualifications, you want to work with me, you want to talk about something, sure. I'll show you what I've done this week. And if that doesn't work for them, that's fine, because it's probably not someone I really want to work with either. If they're obsessed by some sort of qualification, they can go and find someone with the qualification they'd like them to have. It's a bit like criticizing an article or criticizing a poem. If you can hear a noise, by the way, it's raining. I should open it up, actually. I'd love to. I would normally open the window so I can hear the rain. I love that. But there's two problems with that. One is that it would make quite a loud noise and you might not be able to hear me, or there would be a lot of interference. And the other thing is, when it rains really a lot, there's this kind of balcony thing. I'll show you. See this balcony thing here? That black thing, it actually, the gutter above gets flooded. Hang on. So the gutter above gets flooded. It starts pouring over the edge of the gutter right above my window. It slaps, it pours literally like someone's pouring a bowl of water onto the black thing and splashes directly into my living room. And I've swum in here, paddled in here more than once because I forgot to close the window and it poured. Well, was that an aside within an aside? Anyway. So that's what I do. I tell them, yeah, sure. If you want to work with me, you can look at what I've done this week. And the other thing you do, and this is something I'm excited about, is have an hour-long coaching session. I've decided to offer hour-long coaching sessions again, with no obligation and no sales talk, just a coaching session. And then the people know what to do if they want to go further. So I'm pretty excited about that. So anyway, that's my latest article on lazypig.com. Check it out. It's kind of fun. It's going to be fun for me anyway. And the topic of this talk is, let me see. Okay, so the topic of this talk is, can you see what I'm looking at? Yeah. I'm just looking for the talk so I can remember what the topic is. There it is. Today's random theme. So today's random theme is finished, great, now keep going. Finished, great, now keep going. So that's the name of my theme. And I'll put that there because it's quite pretty, but then you can try and work out what on earth that is. Yeah, so my random theme is something that I read somewhere and it was pretty good. What do you do when you finished your book? Let me just what do you do when you finish something creative? Do you relax? Do you take it easy? Do you go and do something else? Well, the thing to do is carry on. Because all kind of finishing of stuff is a bit random anyway, isn't it? Like you finish your book, if it's going to be a 128-page book, let's say, after page 128, it's finished, but it's just another page, isn't it? So you might as well write what would have been 129, but in fact it's number 1. So I like that. I like that idea of making creativity, making productivity, churning stuff out a habit. Just doing it. It's what I do. It's what I do. That's what I am. That's the way I roll, is by creating stuff. And it doesn't matter if on a given day it happens to be the end of a book or a painting is finished or something. I would like to get to the point where none of that matters. On one day I might finish one thing and just work a little bit on something which is only halfway through. And it's kind of, I want it to be kind of irrelevant. And great, when I finish, boom, a big boost. But I still want to have pleasure from the day that I've spent on the thing which isn't finished. At least that day will be finished. That day's work will be finished. So this is a way of avoiding the kind of low some people get, or the anticlimax, when they feel that they finished something and they don't know how to carry on or get started again. in music, they talk about the difficult second album. That's because people think that albums are things, they think that books are things, they think, I think we need logical beginnings and endings. But having said that, what about if behind it all was just a feeling that I write stuff every day, or I paint every day, or I take photographs every day, or I embroider every day, or I create a new recipe every day? What if that was it? What if that was the basis for our lives? In that case, we wouldn't be worried about finishing things, starting things, getting stuck in the middle of things. We'd just be people who produce stuff every day. And from time to time, we'd finish something. And from time to time, we'd start something. And from time to time, we'd be working on something. So that isn't necessarily what I was going to say about that, but that's what came out. And we'll see where it goes from there. I'm going to churn through. If you have comments on that, by the way, how do you approach working? How do you approach productivity? Do you have a method? Or do you just do stuff when you feel like it? When things come along, feel like doing this today and you do it, then you drop it and do something else. Have you got a method? Does it worry you, or are you fine like that? So do let me know. You need to be on this page for me to see your comments. Facebook.com/SabParis. Thanks for watching. If you're watching the replay, thanks for watching the replay. Replay people, you do exist, I know. And you can even leave comments and I will see them and I'll even reply to them. I'm drinking stuff here. It's brown, it's hot, and it came in a coffee-shaped jar, and it ain't coffee. Because last week I ran out of coffee. I don't know if I told you this last week, but last week I ran out of coffee. Real coffee. And I didn't replace it because I was too lazy to go out to the store. So that evening, I didn't have any coffee. I thought, fair enough, I'm not going to die from that, am I? So the next day, I didn't have any coffee in the morning, and I couldn't be bothered going out to the store again. So the day kind of wore on, and I thought, you know what? Coffee's really, I drink instant coffee and tons of it. It's like I'm a chain coffee drinker. One coffee's finished, I go and get another. And I know that I was drinking far too much. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to see what happens if I don't drink anymore. So after 2 days, bam, the headaches started. Bad headaches. So that I couldn't sleep and stuff like that. And then I started taking Doliprane in France, Doliprane, like paracetamol. And this went on for days. And every day I thought, is today? And people were saying, why don't you just drink some coffee? You'll be okay. It's not going to kill you. I don't know what the death toll statistics are from death by, café au lait are in France, but it's not very high. But it was bugging me. I was thinking, if this is giving me a headache, that's a sign that I'm probably drinking too much coffee. And it had become like a drug. And then it is a drug. And then I was thinking, I wonder how much time I spend making bloody coffee every day and drinking it, And that started to bug me as well. So it's given me a headache. Plus, it just wants me to waste loads of time every day drinking coffee and going to the toilet. So I thought, no, I'm not going to let it get me. I'm not going to let it get me down. I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to wait and see how long, because it won't last forever. And it lasted for 4 days, about 4 days of headaches, bad headaches. And now it's gone. So I'm on decaffeinated. Cheers. So there you go. Right, let me talk about something else. And do say hello in the comments if you are watching live. I would love to know that you're there. You don't have to ask a question. You can just say hello and who you are and where you're from. That would be nice. And I'd love to have some comments on anything to do with the creative process, about productivity, which isn't necessarily what you think. It's not about churning stuff out day in, day out, and anything else along those lines. So let me show you my Facebook page. This is where I normally go. I put my latest creative stuff, so that's a fairly good place to start. I go down it, and I'll show you my photographs, my writings of the week, my brand new page for my Australia project, which is called the Burnt Paw Project. It's to help plant trees for the animals in Australia. I've done a funky new page on the Infinity Squared Connective website. I've created a new Facebook group, which I've launched this week, a sister group for my photography one on writing. I'm desperately trying to consolidate my entire life, so I'm not spending my entire life doing this, that, and the other. whew, it's a biggie. It's a big week, actually. And I'm actually using a system as well called the to-done list. The to-done list. I don't know if you know about to-done lists. You probably know about to-do lists. To-do lists are a disaster. You basically start a to-do list at the beginning of the day. You write about 10 or 20 things on. You're constantly adding to it during the day, thinking, oh, wow, this is going to be amazing. I'm going to get so much done. You spend so much time dreaming up new things, which you're not going to do, to put on your to-do list, that it gets longer and longer. You don't do any of them. You feel bad at the end of the day. You've crossed off one or two, and it's crap. Try a to-done list. A to-done list. It's empty until you've done something, and then you write what you did on it. And then you do something else, and you write what you did on it. And it's great. It's really good. It's fun. It's motivating. You feel good every single time you write on it. It's great. Look, there's one, you see, from May the 1st. I just do that, you see, bunch of stuff, articles, things like that. You see, there's another one. There's another one. See, it's as simple as that. It's so simple, and it's incredibly motivating. So, so there you go. Productivity tip. Try a to-done list and not a stupid to-do list. All right, let's have a look at this. I've just done this today. I even work on Sundays. Actually, I never work. That's another story. So, so this is for someone called Jackie, friend of mine, well, a virtual friend of mine, who actually lives in Yorkshire, where I went to university. I won't tell you if I passed or not. You might start thinking I'm trying to, bring credentials or qualifications into the conversation. Yeah, so Yorkshire in the north of England, towards the north. And she promotes awareness of Huntington's disease, which is a terrible disease, which is really kind of random. You think it's maybe to do with genes, but then you don't know whether those genes will switch on or off. It's kind of 50-50. I think it's her brother who died last year from that. And you degenerate, very very and you lose everything, basically. Everything you possibly imagine that helps you function as a human. Starting with being able to swallow and eat and digest, and then think, of course, and then it's the end. So it's very, very sad for all involved. So she raises awareness, and she did it by, or she does it by, she's got this mascot, and the mascot is called Sybil. And Sybil is this little doggy. And I asked her at some point, I don't know what happened, if she could make one for me or something, because she makes them for people who will then take photographs of themselves with it to spread awareness. And I said, there wouldn't be a chance of having a rainbow one, would there? Because, I like rainbows. And I thought, she said, oh, I'll see what I can do. I've got some rainbow ribbon. So I was expecting, a little dog in her normal style with a rainbow ribbon. I actually got the dog. Oh, where is it? Where is it? He, she. Oh, there she is. Right. I actually got this incredible Sybil, really wonderful. With all the works, the full Monty. You got the rainbow ribbon, but you've got everything else as well. You see, you've got yellow here. This saddle thing here is purple. The other side is blue. The nose on both sides is orange. The ears are green. And I was thinking, oh, what a shame there's no red. But then I saw inside the ears, it's red, you see. See, you can now see that the nose is orange when you look at the red. Not only that, but also she made this rainbow on Sybil out of these heart-shaped buttons but different types, not the same one, you see. It's just such beautiful attention to detail. Be nice if it would focus. Hello. What's the problem? It focuses on that. Yeah, you see how beautiful that is? So I do my best to, I appreciate it, when people do things like that. And so I went to Paris one day, it was raining, and just played around with some photographs, but that wasn't going to be my main photographs for her. But I never got back into Paris with COVID-19 and everything. And but but I did get some photographs from that time, that rainy day. So I published them. So I finally got around to putting them into this mosaic thing. Well, actually, it's one of my grids, obviously. And I found there's 18 of them, believe it or not, with a couple of hangers on. So you've got 𝗬𝗏 in the top right, next in front of Opéra, the Opéra Garnier de Paris, with a nice French flagged bus going by. Then you've got 𝗬𝗏 here on the Canal Saint-Martin, admiring one of those beautiful old iron bridges. You've got 𝗬𝗏 en grève, which means on strike. That's a telescope thing looking where you can look at bits of the opera house. I'm not quite sure why you'd want to do that in detail. And yeah, so the telescope seems to be on strike. And down here you've got, on the left in the middle, you've got 𝗬𝗏 with the Eiffel Tower in the background. I had to have it. I couldn't get there. It was too late. It was dark, but that is the Eiffel Tower. Then you've got 𝗬𝗏 in the middle looking like a unicorn with the obelisk of Concorde. You've got 𝗬𝗏 on a multicolored bench on the right there. You've got 𝗬𝗏 in the bottom right. Let me get rid of this. You've got 𝗬𝗏 in the bottom right. It's called Rue de Dieu, God Street. Yeah, that's all. Modest little street, God Street. And I think it's quite funny, you know, like I imagine the green man saying, walkies, walkies, and 𝗬𝗏 saying, yeah, yeah, let's go. In the bottom left, you've got 𝗬𝗏 with trying to, you know, get on with a real Parisian doggy and master. And you've also got 𝗬𝗏 with a beautiful matching rainbow zebra crossing, which is also very cool. And not only, but also, that was 𝗬𝗏's Paris Picnic, part 1 on the 3rd of May. It's today, folks. And part 2 is also available. And it's more of the same, but different. So here you've got 𝗬𝗏. But I've got to get rid of my overlay here, because I want you to see the Arc de Triomphe. You see the Arc de Triomphe there up in the top left? Yeah, she saw the Arc de Triomphe. She saw a Paris letterbox, and they're all covered over now. You can't even post, I think, in my town. In the right, top right, you've got the famous Paris Metro sign. In the bottom left, you've got 𝗬𝗏 who needs to go for a pee. Bottom right, the same thing, telescope on strike, but she's turned the other way. Then you've got another view of the rainbow zebra crossing bit. And then you've got hello on the right from some street artist. And in the middle, you've got a game. It's called Where's 𝗬𝗏? And she's pretending to be a lock in one of these. This Paris panel thing is covered in locks, because people put locks everywhere. Love locks. And up in the top, actually, you can see, maybe you can't, is the famous symbol of Paris, which is a boat. And it's funny, the boat symbol, because you might not even know that the symbol of Paris is a boat. I mean, it's got a motto, it's got a flag and everything, Paris. But as soon as someone points out to you, and you're a kind of observant type, you know, or a curious type, someone says to you, you know what? The symbol of Paris is a boat. And if you look, keep your eyes open, you'll start to see them everywhere. And you do. Just saying. And there's one up on the top of this, you see. All right, so that's that. So that was kind of fun. And she's already seen them. Jackie's already seen them. She's pretty happy with them. So that's nice. And then going down here, that's me live. Oh my God, I'm live. My musical mystery tour is going great guns. I'm pretty excited about this. There was because music was such an important part of my life. And I found that it didn't have a part in my creative process, which was annoying me. So I thought, I'm going to make it part of what I offer, even though it's not my music. So I don't play music. I'm still, you know, that musical drum is still sitting there taunting me. But I, you know, music is everything for me. I love it. You know, I'm very, very passionate about music. So I thought, what a shame that I'm not sharing my favorite songs in some way or other. So I decided to do it. So I'm not necessarily every day, you know, I've only got 24 hours in a day, but I started doing it as quickly as I can. Basically, I grab a song which is on YouTube and I put the link here and I put a little story. So it's not just, you know, a bland naked link. I don't like those. So I put a little story. This is the story. You can see it there. It's maybe not so little. That's Leonard Cohen. That's not Leonard Cohen in the video. It's some actor, but it's quite a good video actually. Someone's like a fan has made it. That's Leonard Cohen. It's called "You Want It Darker," and I put anything and everything that comes to my mind. There's no theme to this. There's no nothing really. It's anything that comes to my mind, I'll put it in, as long as it's maybe a little bit different from the last one. But there's no sort of theme of nines or anything like that. And somewhere I'll put a list with links to them all. So I'm up to number 15 already. So it's pretty cool because I'm listening to music. That's fun, isn't it? And I might put another link to like a funny version of it, or another version, a live version, or a better quality version. But the emphasis is on an interesting video. So that's great. That is, I'm really excited because I'm sharing my this theme. This page here is becoming the sort of the recording of my life as I go through my creative life. So I'm really excited that music is in there in one form or another. And okay, so this is my daily photographs, which I'm recycling. I'm going to use them as prompts in the creative smartphone photography group and the creative blog and article writing group, which will also, I've decided, be able, you can put little bits of poetry, you can put memes that you've written in there, even short stories, because I realized that an article, it can include snippets. I mean, if you write, a beautiful article, it can have little bits of poetry there, or sort of close to poetry. You should be playing with words. You should be, looking at the relationship between words, seeing them flow, being careful with your use of adjectives and stuff. So poetry and writing really pithy memes, saying very little. Sorry, I'm talking about me there. Saying very little with a very lot of words. Saying a great deal with very few words. This is what memes are good for. And that's why I'd like, to encourage people to create their own memes. And poetry and short stories, why not? Because an article can be a little bit like a story, if you like. So I've realized that although I'm going to focus this group, I'm going to focus this group absolutely on blog and article writing. The other elements, not long, boring dissertations or anything, but other elements of short stories and memes and poetry definitely have their place there. So I'm excited about that because I do them. So I want these groups to be basically what I do. So I can enjoy everything that appears in there. And also, of course, it's a place to help other people be creative in a way they wouldn't normally be. And that's what's exciting. I mean, I've seen story. You've got like 98% of people don't contribute. Hello, it's a bit of a shame, but maybe they felt coerced to join, or I'm not talking just about these groups, any groups. You've got a huge percentage of people don't contribute regularly or ever. But I've learned that doesn't matter. That doesn't mean anything. There are many ways, apart from overwhelm, apart from that, there are many ways of enjoying content, and you don't have to be, loud about it, contributing all the time. Having said that, I do want my groups, the groups that I facilitate, to be places where people are encouraged very strongly to create. After all, that's kind of what I do, isn't it? So it would be sort of incoherent if that wasn't the case. Having said that, I'm not going to get all draconian and like, you haven't contributed for, 17 minutes, you're out. Having said that, make the most of these groups. Any of the groups you want to join that I've created, make the most of them. That's what they're there for. They're not there really for you to be passive forever. They're there for you to, at some point, create. Because when you create, wonderful things happen. And when you don't create, I don't know, you tell me. What happens when you don't create? I don't know. Maybe nothing. So, so there's that. Anyway, going back to this, you see I'm kind of all over the place. Well, actually, I'm exactly the same as usual. So, right, so my heart, the heart of my creativity, I wake up and I do this, okay? I wake up. What do? I wake up. normally, if I've gone to sleep. I wake up and I take one of my Paris photographs that I haven't yet worked on at all, and I play with it and put it in the form where it's ready to become part of a When Lady Eiffel Smiles daily post. Then I go to today's photograph, which isn't the same, today's photograph, and I write the article for it. Ideally, I'm writing 1 day in advance, because it's really important to have a day in advance before you publish something. I mean, a book, you need many, many, many rereads and rewrites and rereads and rewrites. I'm talking about a short article. You need at least one period of time where you put it to one side and you come back to it, because you always see new things that you hadn't seen before, guaranteed. It might be as simple as a stupid mistake, silly mistake, like a spelling mistake, or a space, 2 spaces where there should be one, something as trivial as that. It could be the use of 2 adjectives when you really should have replaced one of them with another one. Maybe an adjective which has a better adjective, less boring one. Or you want to change the structure, or a new anecdote comes to your mind. It could be anything. But if you don't give yourself that time, you put it aside, you write it, first draft, put it aside, do something else. Ideally, at least a day, but it could just be an hour or just the time of a meal. You come back, you've got fresh eyes, and this is vital. This is vital for richness in your creativity. The brain, it's limitless in its possibilities, but it needs a break sometimes, and it won't give you all its ideas in one go, and it won't give you all of its subtleties or all of its error spotting or error checking, or stupid checking. So that's what I try to do. I try to be writing a day in advance. This is very difficult for me, because as soon as I finish something, I want to get it out there. There's this moment when I publish it, bam, forget about it, don't care what happens. It's not part of me anymore. It's got its own life. So it's incredibly difficult for me to put something aside and leave it. But ideally, that's what I do. So I'm normal. If I'm doing that, then in the morning, I'm taking the thing I wrote yesterday, looking at it again, making the changes, modifications, improvements, whatever. Then I put it in the form that it has to be in, and then I publish it. And today's looked like this. What do you think? So if you want to comment, then this isn't supposed to be me just talking for 2 hours or so. I would like some comments. Okay, so to comment, you need to be on this page. Let me show you. Let me show you what page you have to be on. You have to be on facebook.com. Is on the right there. Facebook.com /SabParis. And if you're there, you can say hello, you can leave a comment, and I should be able to see it in theory. So if you've left a comment and I haven't seen it, because I haven't actually seen comments, so there may be a problem with comments tonight. It happens sometimes. In which case, sorry, I'm not ignoring you. I just can't see the comments at the moment. And but if you're not watching this on facebook.com /SabParis, I don't think I can see your comments. All right, so that's why. And I want to see them. The idea is you ask me questions about creativity, your productivity, and anything else that might come to your mind as I'm talking and showing you some stuff. All right, so that's the deal. That's what I'm here for. All right, so let's carry on. And this is my creation for today. Let's have a look. Let me get rid of this for a second. What about if I put that back? Does that cover it too much? So this is quite a Spartan picture, actually. It's a door on the slopes of Montmartre, around the backside, and near the famous little cabaret called Le Lapin Agile, the nimble rabbit, the nimble bunny. And it's wonderful if you go around the back of some of these famous places and the back streets, and you find stuff that the tourists rarely get to. This is still pretty much on the tourist trail, mind you. And what I talked about in the article was about, well, let me read the article to you, why not? well, mini article, isn't it? Paris pavement pounders make photo series of the most curious things. Characterful door knockers and knobs are always a favourite catch. Although I did a few Paris top 10 picture lists ages ago on things like bridges and weird plaques and strange statues, there was never one devoted to these beauties. So it's a door knocker, you see. You lift up the hand, or you used to be able to, and you slam it down and bam, it makes a noise. Spontaneity seems to trump systemized snapping for me, but each to their own. As long as you're out there having fun tracking down oddities and immortalizing minutiae, is that how you say it? Tracking down minutiae, immortalizing minutiae, you're in the game. That's good. Don't knock it. Cringeworthy, pun at the end, but which is why I felt obliged to put that little face. But cringeworthy puns can be okay sometimes, I guess. So that was today's, and as you can see, that was yesterday's music. And it's kind of crazy because I hate the group called Coldplay, or rather, they just don't move me, which is worse than hating actually, because hate is emotion. And emotion, if you arouse emotion, you can't necessarily, what is your goal as a creative person? You can leave this in the comments. I'm looking for a comment. I really would like a comment to talk to. What is your objective as a creative person when you share your creativity? Do you want people to like it? Is that what would make it a success for you? For me, I want people to be affected by it. I want them to have some sort of reaction. That's it. It doesn't really matter if they don't like it. If they are indifferent, it doesn't move them, they have no comment, then that's more of a failure for me than if someone says they hate it or they love it. Because if you're trying to grab someone, some aspect of some person and make it and shake it, you can't necessarily guess what emotion you're going to shake. And for some, it'll be a positive one, or some it'll be a negative one. That's kind of disputable, calling emotions positive and negative. But that's another story for another time, maybe for a Lazy Pig article. But if you've just joined, I write about that sort of thing here on lazypig.com. Let me just show you the homepage in case you missed it, and then I'll go back. lazypig.com, where I write articles about productivity, creativity, life, the universe, and everything, and the weird and wonderful aspects of this crazy life we're living. lazypig.com. And my gauge for whether I like a group or not is basically whether I've pursued them. I've heard something by them and I've gone to look for further stuff. And never, ever did I look for more stuff by Coldplay after what I'd heard on the radio or something. By the way, this is extremely opinionated, more than anything else. Normally I'm a bit, calmer, but, this is just my opinion. It doesn't matter one iota. It doesn't mean anything. But, if I'm not going to give an opinion, it would be kind of boring. So I'm giving my opinion, but that's all it is. And with music, it's so passionate for me. If I think something's crap, I'll say it's crap. It doesn't mean it's crap. It means I think it's crap. It doesn't mean it's crap. I hope you get that. So I don't like Coldplay. They've never moved me enough. Well, this song did. It moved me enough to look for other stuff by them that I liked, and I didn't find any. This track is great. It's great. Violet Hill. And I remember it's linked to an incident. The guy, Chris something or other, was being interviewed on the radio. And he was kind of nonchalant, probably incredibly rich by that time. No worries at all. Married to Gwyneth Paltrow or something. I think that's over now. And it was his new thing. He was kind of promoting their new album. And he said, well, this is a new track. And the DJ kind of nonchalantly said, so is it any good? And Chris something said, it's all right. And it is all right. It's really great. It's a brilliant track. I love it. And that's the only one I like with them. So there you go, Violet Hill. Now this is another thing I'll tell you about, but I did want to, I'm just going to go over to my photographs, if that's okay by you. Feel free to comment. I'm saying this a lot because nobody is. Feel free to comment. You have to be on facebook.com/sapparis. You're very timid. Oh, you're so timid tonight. Look at me. I'm not timid. Anyway, last week we had a lot of people commenting. Maybe it's me. This is one I didn't have. Have I got this open? Yeah, there we go. So this is actually all of this week's output. This is the thing I put up at the beginning of each chapter of 9 Photo Chronicles. And it's to tease you. It's to make you want to know what these things might be. So the last 7 were from the last week. So the last 7 should be new, okay? The little game is you try and guess, what bits of Paris they might be, if you recognize any bits of Paris. Anyway, here they are. This is what I've released so far in this chapter, and it's almost finished. Chapter 5 in book 2 of volume 2 is nearly finished. Tomorrow it'll be finished. This is my life's work in terms of photography and writing. It's an 18-year project, people. Can you believe that? How ridiculous is that? 18 years. I did the math, and I think I'm going to still be alive to finish it. If not, maybe you could take over. But it just came to me over 2 years ago. Because if you look at this one here, if I blow it up, it's number 854, and that's days. 854 days in a row. What about you? I told you I spend half my life creating stuff and the other half of my life helping other people to be as creative as they would love to be. What about you? What's going on with you creatively? How do you do it? Is it a thing for you? I mean, obviously creativity isn't a thing. Painting is a thing. Writing poetry is a thing. Taking photographs is a thing. Inventing recipes is a thing. Creating workout programs is a thing. Creativity isn't a thing as such, or if it is, it's pretty conceptual. But let's talk about it anyway. Whatever the thing is that you create in, how do you do it? What is your thing? Have you got a method? Do you do it effortlessly every day? Is it a massive struggle like some of the people I work with? Let me know. This is me ready to answer your questions on anything at all to do with productivity and creativity in the only way I can. And as I said at the beginning when I talked about credentials with a K, the only credentials I've got that are worth anything in my mind are what I've done in the last week. And this is it. You're looking at it. These are my credentials for anything that might come out of my mouth. And if you don't think my credentials are worth anything, you're right. And if you do think they're worth something, you're right. So do you see what I mean with that? There's a fancy phrase linked to that. But that's basically how the only credentials I will ever offer anyone is voluntarily, the police might be an exception, is what I've done in the last week. What other credentials are there? Tell me. I want to know. Because if you say you're a writer, and I say, oh, that's great. What was the last thing you wrote? And if you say, actually, I haven't actually written anything recently, but I've got a plan for a book. Well, I'm not quite sure where to go with that, because either you're a dreamer, or maybe you would like to write, but you don't, so you're not a writer. Obviously, it's a personal definition, but I offer this definition to people. Again, it's to do with a week. A week seems pretty good to me. I say to someone, if you haven't written in the last week, do you think you're really a writer? Or if you haven't done your thing, your creative thing in the last week, do you think you really are a creative person in that area? Are you sure? Or are you just a dreamer? Or are you having real problems with it? Obviously, often people I work with want desperately to be creative, but they can't. They've got problems getting down to it for, various reasons. But I will ask irritating questions and see what happens. But I try to apply them to myself, and it's worth what it's worth, and it is what it is. I've as you know, maybe if you know me, I've eliminated certain words from my vocabulary, which are very unhelpful. Things like success, failure, perfection, imperfection, and comparison. They're very dangerous concepts to hold on to. Just produce stuff. Just produce stuff and get it out there and move on. The name of today's random topic is something I forgot now. Finished? Excellent. Now carry on. In other words, never be finished, but never be starting. I mean, just be doing. Just be doing. That's what you've got. You're either in action or you're not in action. And if you're in action, suddenly you'll realize, oh, there goes a book. Oh, there goes a painting, a finished painting. Oh, there goes a finished series of photographs. Oh, there goes a finished short story. It'll be going, on a regular basis. But the thing is to be in action all the time. Obviously, you can sleep, you can have breaks, you can not write for a while or not paint for a while or whatever your thing is. But be aware, be aware. Life is running away. Life doesn't stop. Life, I mean, the river of life doesn't stop. What do rivers do? Flowing. So be careful of that. If you want to be productive, and if you want to be producing stuff regularly, just be aware of that. You might stop, but time isn't stopping, or whatever we perceive of as time isn't stopping. It's carrying on, and we're getting older. So are you producing? I love the idea of equating being creative with being enlightened and leading a wonderful life. We're creative beings. We came from a creative act. We create constantly. We create our lives from second to second. Maybe we're not creating them. Maybe we're just going with the flow. But still, you see what I mean? We're doing things. We're doing things. This is our life. You listening to these words is your life. You've just spent that bit of your life doing that. You happy with that? Well, you can't change it, but if you're not happy with the next one being that, go away and do something else. And I might see my viewers drop to 0 at this point, for all I know. But it ain't stupid. You should be able to say at any given moment that what you are doing right now is exactly what you want to be doing. Can you say that? Can you honestly say that? I mean, you can't always say that, but you can still philosophize about it and say, I'm still living this moment. I'm appreciating it. The emotions are up sometimes, they're down sometimes, but without the downs, you can't appreciate the ups. This is life. If I didn't feel anything, I'd be dead. So that's kind of the choice we've got here, folks. So anyway, here are my last photographs of this week. So all of these ones should be new. This was a nice one. Look at this, he says. Hoping you agree. So it's a statue. And you know what I've started doing? I'm trying desperately to consolidate my life, to make it simpler, more regulated, and more structured. But it's structured chaos. I mean, as a good thing. I want it to be structured chaos. Chaos in the sense of endless, limitless creativity. The trouble is, I was trying to create everything and a bit more. That wasn't working out very well for me. I ended up creating nothing that was worth anything. Well, I mean, you could say nothing is worth anything. I'll stop that right there. Nothing was satisfying me. Nothing was pleasing me. Nothing was getting out to other people that meant anything much to them, or it was kind of random, So I thought, in the last year, this has happened. Kind of an epiphany. I saw a funny cartoon recently, and it was, there's a famous film called Breakfast at Tiffany's, or something like that. Breakfast at Tiffany's, famous old film. But the caption was Breakfast at Epiphanies. And there were people sitting at different tables, all of them saying things like, oh my God, these eggs are unbelievable. This pizza is the most incredible thing I've ever seen. They were all having breakfast epiphanies. It was quite funny. That was an aside within an aside. I've forgotten the other aside. So anyway, yeah. So I'm trying to pull my life together and channel my creativity. I don't know if this is a problem for you or a challenge for you or not. Is it? In the comments, let me know, and I will talk about it. And this was painful for me at first. Painful. How painful is it for a creative person? One of these types of people who has so many ideas they don't know what to do with them. I'm not claiming this as a good thing. It's what it is. Everything is what it is. And one of the keys to happiness, I think, is being okay with what is. But I really envied those people who had taken a creative area like painting, and they just did it all the time, for crying out loud. They didn't go off and, you know, try and learn some musical instrument one day and learn to juggle the next, and, oh, I think I'll be a writer tomorrow, and then after that I'm going to be an art, you know. What is going on? So in these years where I am now, I'm getting to the point where I'm trying to focus down and just do a few things. And I have the feeling that this year, 2020, I'm serving, as they say, or helping or inspiring far more people than I have ever before. And that's because I'm choosing specific areas where I have something to say and focusing on those. Those areas are basically photography and writing. It's not the only things I'm interested in, but that's it, you see. If you try to do everything, you end up doing nothing much at all. So I'm focusing on photography and writing. I'm doing stuff in art, but I'm not going to make it my thing that I blah blah about, you see, except here. If you ask me a question about art, I'll talk about it. But this focus is working because I'm getting more and more focused on helping photographers, and photographers are humans too, you know. So they have other issues, other areas in which they want to be creative. So if they can see how they can be more creative in photography, they can apply it to the rest of their lives. How cool is that? Same with writing. Writing is a wonderful way to be creative, to get stuff out there, and to share your ideas and your passions with others, or even your useful hints and tips. And I love writing, so that's it. I'm focusing on writing. That's going to be one of my things. All the rest is for fun. Even that is for fun, but I'm taking that as serious fun. And like painting, for example, is unserious fun. I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, so I'm going deeper on the photography and the writing, but it's not necessarily the things I'm most passionate about. I'm passionate about everything or nothing, or, you know, whatever. But if you don't choose something and you decide, look, I feel that I'm limiting myself, but within this, I'm going to go crazy with my creativity, you'll end up feeling great about it, producing real stuff, touching people more deeply. Yes, in that channel, but then, you know, you've got to touch someone in some way to start off with. Otherwise, you won't touch anybody. So pick something that people get passionate about and do it a lot, and do it well as you can. And then you will touch people, and you'll touch them not just for that, but for other things as well. And they will touch you, and you'll have forged contacts with people who have a like mind. So that's my kind of blah blah on that. Why am I talking about that with this? I don't know. Well, maybe because I've started putting my daily photos, I'm recycling my pixels. It's very, very ecologically friendly. And I can't do everything, and I want to do loads of things. So I'm taking my photographs and my texts, and I'm putting them, I'm decided to put them as daily prompts in the photography and the writing group. I held off doing this for quite a long time because I thought, I don't want to make it all about me. And yet, you know, people have lots of things to do. They join the group, but they don't really want to contribute. They don't have time, or they're not stimulated. And if you ask people to write about a random topic kind of vaguely, they maybe don't know what to say. But if you give them something concrete, like a picture, an artistic-y type picture, or a rather enigmatic or maybe even controversial few lines, or even a phrase in words, maybe that'll do it. I don't know. I'm going to see. I'm going to see what happens. So I'm going to put my daily photographs in one form or another in the Creative Smartphone Photography group and the Creative Blog and Article Writing group, which are these, you see. I haven't started. I'm starting this one on Monday, tomorrow, in the Smartphone Photography group. I've started doing it from the get-go in the Creative Blog and Article Writing group. If you look down here, let's say hello. You look down here, you'll see, that's me again. God, you'll see, what was that? No, not that. You'll see this. It's called Today's Scribble Prompt, and the other one will be Today's Snapping Prompt, something like that. Get creative every day. How does the image make you feel? What does the text below bring to your mind? I don't want people to write about this image. That's too restrictive. I want them to be inspired in some way, kick-started, kick up the butt. Even if it makes them think of something blue that they love or hate, doesn't matter. It's a stimulus, a visual stimulus to get people going. And I put a quote from the text. I'm kind of uneasy about this because I'm not sure if all the texts are going to be quotable, but anyway, I'm trying. Some of them are like deep and meaningful and others are just crap or nonsense, but I'll see. Because the thing is, at the end, afterwards, at the end of the day, I then, I haven't done it yet. At the end of the day, in the comments, I then show them the full text, just for interest, if they haven't seen it elsewhere. So I'm trying to encourage everybody else's creativity. This is not with any pretensions, just that I get inspired by stuff. So I'd like to offer stuff that inspires other people. It's a cycle; it goes round and round. So I get inspired by people inspiring me. I try to inspire others. It's called being in the game, really. So here I took the snippet saying, spontaneity seems to trump systemized snapping for me, but each to their own. As long as you're out there having fun, tracking down oddities and immortalizing minutiae, you're in the game. So maybe that'll spark something about being in the game, not following systems, but being spontaneous, just going out there, seeing what happens. So that's that. So I'm quite excited about that. And some of my other shots from this week that you haven't seen, I think we talked about this one at the end of the last session of last week's 𝗬𝗪. So I said it could be a 3D effect. Someone pointed out, which is cool. This is a great tower. I mean, it's an impressive tower. It actually, the way the photo is, it actually looks incredibly big, doesn't it? I think. And it is. It's a really big tower. It's a big, huge water tower slapped on top of Montmartre, quite close to Sacré-Cœur, which is a bit controversial. But having said that, it kind of ruins the skyline from certain angles. Then again, it is what it is. And it's big, it's white. It's kind of interesting. It's not some horrible modern thing. It's a water tower. It's full of water. The idea is you shove the water really up high on a high point, and through gravity, it serves all the neighborhood without needing to be pumped. So I don't know what I wrote about that. I think I did a funky sort of pattern with my words. Look at that. How about that? Yeah, so you can read that if you want. And what else have we got? This one was nice. This is, do you know who this is? It's Dalida. Dalida was a famous singer from a while ago, and she's got a place called Place Dalida, and she's got a bust, a statue, a busty statue, if you will. And yeah, it's rather beautiful. I like the way it's been. I like the way it's been treated. Played around with, and it's very nice, soft tones and warm colours and such like. I'm trying to remember, what did I write about this? Is it worth quoting? Yeah, actually, this was a strange sort of thing I said. So for some rum reason, I'm reading my text now. For some rum reason, I occasionally play a rather painful mind game of, if you had to choose between your sight and your hearing for the rest of your life, which would it be? Which would you keep and lose? It's kind of, yeah, it's quite uncomfortable, this. I always find it uncomfortable. I think this came up because she was a singer, so music versus things you can do with your eyes. For me, it would have to be my sight, simply for ease of movement and still being able to read and write. And then there's my Paris picks. I console myself, music-wise, with the hypothesis that I'd remember my fab favorite tunes and maybe even hear them in my mind's ear. But what a grim idea. A way to love what I've got before lamenting what I've not, I guess. Comme c'est beau de ne pas être malade. That means how wonderful it is not to be sick or ill, because she did a very famous song called, I think it was called Malade. Malade, complètement malade. This one is, this conjured up a nice little story about the past, actually. This is Montmartre, isn't that charming? On the Montmartre cobbles. And my story for this one was, let me know if you have any comments, if you have any questions. You're very quiet tonight, you must be relaxing. Look, I've got a yogurt, half-eaten yogurt, which I didn't even, finish. Is the yogurt half full or half empty? Well, it's getting less than half full. There's a couple of retorts to that, by the way. One is you can say, forget whether the yogurt or glass is half full or half empty. Just admire how beautiful the glass is. And the other thing you can say is, pour the water into a smaller glass and shut the fuck up. But anyway. So my story on this one was how marvelous it would be to tread these very same streets in the days you could pass Modigliani or Monet, Renoir or Toulouse-Lautrec, staggering home or out buying their baguettes and brie. Imagine little blue historical plaques all over saying Mondrian meandered here, Pissarro passed often, Picasso's pissing corner, Degas' favorite damsel diner. It's tempting to think of them as semi-nomadic savages clad in caveman rags, rooting for grubs, but they weren't so different to us. Van Gogh had existential and money and women and drinking problems, and oh my goodness, so do I. Awesome, awesome. We could have been miserable absinthe amigos and get Edgar to immortalize us. Just, he didn't have World Wars I and II behind him, or know the Paris metro. Internet wasn't a thing. And they definitely didn't say awesome. The past casts long shadows as the setting sun brushes the shutters and kisses the cobblestones of old Montmartre. I step aside to let Vincent's fatigued figure pass, adjusting easel, offer a nod and a paint-stained hand. We'll see us later, my friend, under starry skies. This was a back street of Montmartre. Most of my photos are of Montmartre at the moment because that was the last place I took a few shots before the clamp down. I don't think these ladies are ladies of the street or anything. I think they were just probably a couple of students having a fag break or something. And there's a nice little alcove there. You see that? There's an area for sitting, which is actually built. I was going to say built into or cut out of the building. On this Montmartre cobblestone back street, on the way to the Dali Museum, by the way. It's pretty cool place to chill out and have a smoke if you do that sort of thing. And you've got the red of the piano bar, Le Tire-Bouchon, which is the corkscrew piano bar, very famous piano bar in Old Montmartre, if you know the area. I don't know what I read about that. I won't read any more of those. Right, so how are we doing for time? Well, we're doing fine. I see a few people have been watching me. That's nice. Thank you very much. You're not talkative tonight, but I haven't managed to elicit any questions from you. Try as I might, but that's okay, you know, because it doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Nothing matters. Right. So those. I hope you like those. Those are my. That's the core of my stuff. Let me go back to these. It's sister groups. We now have sister groups. If you're part of my photography group, we now have a sister writing group. If you're part of my writing group, we have a sister photography group. Why? I just explained to you what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to focus on two areas and be amazing, or at least, you know, offer an amazing experience, amazing opportunities to be creative in those two areas. So there's two groups, and they are the smartphone photography group and the blog and article writing group. Each one will have daily prompts, weekly themes, a live Facebook thing every week. How about that? So Mystery Monday, on the Monday, for people, if you want to talk about photographs, and I'll introduce the weekly theme. So please come to that if you enjoyed if you like photography. If you like writing, come and join the writing group. It's the same. It's going to have daily prompts. It's all very friendly, you know. Nobody criticizes. It's all constructive. And you have to comment on other people as well. That's part of the deal, you know. To make the photo love go round is my little saying. When you post something which is helping you, okay, the idea is you've joined the group because you want to produce stuff, unless you're just a consumer, which is, you know, there are people like that. I don't know too many of them personally. The idea is you produce, but when you put something of yours in the group, for the daily prompt, for example, leave a comment on somebody else's. You know, this is important. It works like this, you know. It doesn't work like this one way. It just doesn't. It has to work two ways, and that's where the joy comes. That's where the beauty comes. So I want to see your stuff. I really do want to see your stuff and read your stuff. So these two groups, they're going to be fun. They are. I mean, the smartphone photography one already is. There it is, and there is the creative blog one. So that's it. I'm gonna hunker down, recycle my photographs every day in those two groups, interact with the people who want to be active, passively love the people who just want to sit there, and you know, appreciate the works of others. That's fine, you know. I mean, if there weren't readers, what would be the point of writing, in a way? So, you know, that's fine. And there'll be 2 times per week, apart from this one. This is an extra one. There'll be 2 times per week when you can talk specifically about writing, and you can talk. When I say talk, it's through Facebook Live, so it's like leaving comments. Although theoretically I could do Zooms, I suppose, but I'm kind of trying to keep it, you know, focused. And with Zooms, it can kind of go a bit wild. So Zoom is possibly for another type of style. So these are Facebook Lives where I present your stuff, comment on it. I can answer questions on it. If you've got questions about form, style, etc., that's fine. You can ask me those, and I will give you some sort of response, either for the photography or for the writing. And there's that. The other thing that I'm excited about is the Today's the Day group. Well, I'm excited about lots of things. The Today's the Day group is where you put, up to once a day, you put a post which starts with the 3 words, today's the day. Well, 3 and a bit of an is. Today's the day. And you say what today is the day, what you will remember that day for. And it's about thinking in the present. You know, it's about today being the only time you can actually do anything much at all. So this is to make you help you appreciate your present moments. At the end of the day, you can say, today's the day whatever great thing you want to remember. It's not just today's the day I felt good, or today's the day I started the rest of my life. That's kind of a little, it's cute, you know, it's kind of, feel good memey, but it's a bit BS-y as well. I want stuff that is not vague. I'd like it to be something you could literally remember that day for, because it's the only day you've ever done that, and it's the only day you ever will. So something special. And if you wanted, you could literally go back and say, that was the day I did that. That was the day I did that. It could be, that was the day today's the day I started my new book. Today's the day I met so-and-so. Today's the day I helped someone with something. So people can use this as they want. As with any group, it's kind of fallen off from the beginning. That's fine. I'm moving towards the idea of just letting things be. If I'm enjoying doing them, I'll carry on doing them. Those that want to interact, that's fine. They will be the people I interact with. It's as simple as that. It can't work any other way. I will try to encourage people to do this, but this is just one of many things in people's lives. I know that. I get invited to Facebook groups every day. And sometimes I join them because I like the person, but I don't actually have an interest in that particular group. So I'm not really going to take part. So I get that. And that's life. And that's fine. It's fine. So this is here. I think it's cool. I like it. So I'm going to carry on with this. I'm going to carry on with my 2 creative book groups. And guess what? The prompt, my daily photograph, is the banner, which I change every day in the Today's the Day group. And trying to be creative again, I put a new thing here. It's normally 3 or 4 words, and it's again designed to stimulate something. It's better than nothing, isn't it? It's there. It's there. It's better that it's there than not there. And some people will like it, and some people won't be moved by it, and that's fine. But I have the approach that I want to take the risk of offering stuff that might not be liked or interacted with, because it might be. But if it isn't there, it's like, if you're not playing the game, you can't win. If you're not producing stuff, you can't become successful, whatever your definition of that is. If you're not creating something beautiful, you can't please anybody with your creations. And that's enough. That's enough to create stuff for me. I kind of leave it. Once it's gone, it's gone. I don't spend much time looking back on stuff, or checking again and again to see if I've got another like. You can see this little button here, which with that red bit you see up in the top there, with the comments or whatever's on the Facebook posts. That's a very, very dangerous little icon. Very dangerous for a creative person, because look, what should you be doing with your time? Should you be checking to see reactions on the last thing you created, or should you be creating your next thing? And this comes straight back down, vroom, to the name of this talk today, today's satsang, which was, I should have written it down somewhere, shouldn't I? It was finished, that's great, keep going. No, finished, great, now keep going. I think that's what it was. Finished, great, now keep going. Don't spend the next 3 weeks agonizing over the number or the lack of likes you got for such and such a creation. You could have created 3 more things in that time and possibly touched 3 or 4 times more the people that you are touching. So be careful with likes. Be careful with expecting any reaction at all from any creation. Is that like black and white enough? Reactions will come, maybe. If they do, they may be good or they may not be good. People may love it and not react and not show you that they love it. They may hate it and not show you. They may be indifferent. All of these are possible. But so what? What has that got to do with your next creative thing? Nothing. Don't attach other people's reactions to the value of your thing that you're creating or have created, or even yourself. It's a waste of time. Just be creating. Just get out there. Create. Do stuff. Whatever your thing is, do more of it. And every now and then, sure, check out, the comments. It's fun. But for goodness sake, spend more time creating than you are consuming random, often pointless comments. I tell you what I do with my little that little button there. Well, I don't, but I mean, it's what I'm trying to do. I'll click that little red button. I won't do it now. It says 14. I can guarantee you there'll be like 2 comments on something relating to me and 12 random notifications, a like here, a heart there, but it's nothing I have to do anything about. Nothing. And the danger is every time it goes from 0 to 1, or every time that little red thing appears, you check it. That is death to the creative process. Whatever you do, don't let it get into double figures before you even click it. Then, once you've clicked it, you've got the list. The only ones you really need to worry about are the green ones, because they're the little comments that, well, I'll tell you what, I will click it. Normally, those green ones are the comments on something that you've released. Yeah, you can check those. The rest, forget it. You might want to cast a look. Oh, so-and-so liked such and such. But you know, my God, for God's sake, it's dangerous. It's too dangerous. I'm going to click on this. Okay, look. Okay, the first one, I'll go through them, right? Green, no, no, no. Green, no, 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 no. Green, no, 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 no. Green, no, no, no. Green. Okay, you get it. Greens are the only ones you maybe should look at or click on. Absolutely. Anyway, so there's that. I hope that was useful for you. Was it? Let me know in the comments. Today's a no comments day. How about that? No comments. Yeah, you're leaving me calm and tranquil. And last week, my God, there were loads of people commenting. It was great. And we had a good time. I did a big reply. I think it was on Despina. A big reply on Despina's comment about, oh, what was it? Frustration or something? Big comment on that at the end, but she'd gone before she saw it. So I hope she went back and watched that. Cherry yogurt. No fat. Because I've got too much. I had a binge today. Today's Sunday. Today's my theoretical day off. Do you do anything like this? The theory is I eat and drink amazingly from Monday to Saturday, and on Sunday I can have whatever I like. Do you do anything like that? Do you have any hints and tips on that? My problem is I then try to cram all of the things I would have eaten if I'd eaten them normally every day, like ice cream and crisps, into the Sunday. And sometimes it slips over to the Saturday. I mean, it advances into Saturday. Because, you know. So I actually ate a bunch of ice creams yesterday evening and afternoon, and about 2 or 3 huge packet of crisps, chips to Americans. And I did the math on the calories. I mean, it's like thousands of calories. I ate thousands of calories in one like 12-hour period. Thousands of crap calories. So, well, I just did a little bit of exercise just before our webinar and had my shower. Although I'm not shaving. You see, I'm going caveman. Yeah. So there you go. I wanted to show you something else. Yeah. This is Infinity Squared Connective. I've got this project, this artistic project. It's bubbling under. It's desperate to get going, but it hasn't got going yet. It's all based on my little squares. I'm about to do a whole bunch of amazing, theoretically amazing pictures based on my Infinity Squared pictures. And I've got this project, and it's called the Burnt Paw Project, and it's about helping the animals that were injured and in the terrible fires in Australia and lost all their habitat and all the rest of it. So it's basically to help plant more trees in Australia with the help of my online friend Laurel, who's a member of all my groups, I think. Good on you, Laurel. And possibly Mans. And Yeah, it's called the Burnt Paw Project, I think it's called. The kangaroo paw, I've talked about this before. Kangaroo paw is the national emblem for Western Australia, WA, to those in the know. And I lived in WA for a year when I was a kid. It's a beautiful plant as well. I've shown it to you before here, so I won't do it now. So burnt paw, I think, is a nice name for it, because you see some terrible pictures of the animals that suffered and got burnt and stuff. So, and look what I've done. So this is the home page for adopting your puzzle piece in my 𝗏𝗏𝗏 Connective project. Okay, it's a wonderful project. Check it out. The website is 𝗓2𝗐.life, 𝗓2𝗐.life, and you can interpret 𝗓2𝗐 in several different ways. And it's not least 𝗏𝗏𝗏 Connective, and it's about connecting people. You adopt for a few euros one puzzle piece which is connected to others, and you can get in touch with a couple of them. A couple of people will get in touch with you, and you share love and unity and stuff around the world forevermore and a day. It's great. So I decided to do this. See, these are up for adoption at the moment, this one and this one. But I've created a new page. Ready for this? It's kind of fun. Here we go. Now let me get rid of. No, I won't bother. Let's see what this looks like. This is a page for the Australia project. So you click on Burnt Paw up in the menu bar, and this comes up. Ta-da! 𝗏𝗏𝗏 Connective. And it says, adopt your unique burnt paw puzzle piece and help Aussie wildlife. No? Good. So I've been doing these in the last little while. Let me make that a bit bigger. Just put that. Yes, I've been doing these to start promoting it. I'm doing 9 of these. Doesn't want to focus. Okay, there's one. There's another one. Crocodile. Do you know what these animals are? Answers in the comments. That's a I was going to say dodo. It's an emu. Looks like a bit like an ostrich, but it isn't. It's an emu. Another little lizard fella. Gecko. Used to see those around the place. Doesn't want to focus. Focus. And this one. At last, a kangaroo. All right, so it's all based on 𝗓2𝗐 life. I have to put it over here. Does that work better? That's funny. It doesn't want to focus on that one, but it focused on that one. You are weird, camera. There you go. Maybe it was the angle. So this is like promo fun. And then I've also been doing these quizzes. Do you want to do a quiz? Let's do a quiz. So the quizzes are, again, to, I think you've seen that, again to promote this new project, and the proceeds will go to plant trees in Australia of the type which will help animals have somewhere more to shelter, I guess, and to eat as well. It's been a while actually since I did the last one, so I'm going to have to go down, 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 down. Now you see I'm publishing my new articles here, and I did a couple of it's called apparentlys as well. Whoa, it's a long way since that was a meme. Leaves, did I show you that one? Leaves fall, you drift by. Fall leaves. Leaves fall, you drift by. Fall leaves. You can interpret it any way you like. So memes are fun as well. Memes are great fun because you have to try and say the most meaningful stuff possible in the smallest number of words. And that's a challenge. You got to throw like 1 or 2 meanings in there, maybe a play on words, maybe a bit of humor, irony, clever stuff like that in a handful of words. It's a great exercise. There's me. That's me with Xander's balls. Oh, this is, did I tell you? I think you've seen this. I've shown you this before. It's Xander's other thing. The guy who does the balls, he also does these origami animals, which starts out as a piece of paper and it turns into this. So isn't that cool? There's a creative guy. This one is a little peacocky fella, which won't go sharp, obviously. Did it go sharp? You make them out of just a slip of paper like this, and he's got about 5 or 10 of them for different animals. It's really good. And there's his balls, which I made. I made these balls, made them myself. Can you believe it? Me, so the bro that don't sew actually made these with my own hands, needle, thread, and there you go. How about that? Unbelievable. I've never sewn in my life. Okay, I'm still trying to get to the quiz, the Aussie quiz, to show you what it looks like. If you've seen it, well, fair enough, but I'd still like to show you. I haven't put it anywhere else, just on Facebook, on this page for the moment. Good grief, where is it? It's miles away. There we go. Whoa, I'm only up to number 5. Okay, Aussie wildlife quiz. Are you any good at wildlife quizzes? Are you any good at Australian wildlife? Which of these wacky wombat facts is not true? This is not a wombat, but don't worry. Okay, so wombats, they're kind of curious. Funny Australian animal. Which of these wombat facts is not true? A, their poop is square. Oh. B, their pouches face backwards. C, their milk is blue. So that was the question, and I will tell you, just so that I don't have the embarrassment of nobody actually commenting with an answer. The answer is C. I made that up. Their milk is not, well, actually, it could be blue, but I made that up. However, their poop is square. Can you imagine? Apparently, they've got special muscles in their rectum or somewhere to kind of hammer it into this square thing. Why? Good question. Apparently, they like rooting around on hillsides. Stick with me here. They use their poo to mark their territory. And if their poo rolled down the hillside, merrily, well, there'd be a whole bunch of wombats thinking that they all share the same territory at the bottom of some hill, wouldn't there? So that's it. The square poo apparently makes it stay in place, and they know where they live. It's like when you park the car and you go out drinking or something and you can't find it. Yeah. Has anyone seen my poo? It's kind of about this big. It's square. Yeah, I saw someone. Anyway, there you go. So that's kind of fun as well. Random Australian quizzes. That's me. That's some pictures and so on. You can get the idea. And I was going to find another quiz just for the hell of it. There you go. Recent estimates suggest there may be up to beep species of spider in Australia alone. This is scary. Okay, how many species of spider do you think there are in Australia alone? Recent estimates, official stuff here. From the Australian Arachnological Society. Do you think it's 200 species? Do you think it's 2,000? Do you think it's 20,000? Oh, wait. Well, apparently, there may be around, they don't know, that's the thing, but there may be around 20,000 species of spider in Australia. Yuck. I mean, how wonderful. Love everything. Love everything. I saw a funny, I'm in this group. It's a group I joined the other day. It's called Buddhist Humor. And there was a cartoon in there. Some of it is Buddhist humor. This one's just kind of random humor. It was a Buddhist walking along saying something about, how enlightened people respect all living things and there's no difference between us and them and we're all one, etc. And and in the last frame in the cartoon, he was talking to a disciple or something, or an acolyte. In the last frame of the cartoon was the bottom of his sandal just lifting up, and there were like about 50 bugs all squashed and guts hanging out and stuff. Right. Okay, well, time's getting on, folks. I would say thanks for all your comments and questions, but there haven't been any. So that's interesting, isn't it? It's either a technical thing, nobody's watching, or you don't have anything to say, or you're also timid. Are you timid? Is that what it is? Are you too timid to even just say hello? I'm not judging you, yeah? You're timid, you're timid. No, anyway. Anyway, I mean, no, I mean, if people are watching, then that means that they're watching because they'd rather watch than not watch. So unless they're sympathizing or just feel sorry for me, what could it be? What could it be? Anyway, I'm going to do these, you know, for a long time. That's the idea. So you better get used to seeing that little thing come up. Sab is now live. Go there and don't leave a comment if you want to. Right, I'm going to move on to one. I think I had a new apparently. Do you know my apparently thing? So that's Burnt Pour. Check it out. It's going to happen soon. I'm going to start painting. I'm going to do a series of 9 kind of mini videos probably, or shots, just showing the process as I go from zero to these finished pieces of art, which will then be put up for adoption to help Australia. Please check it out. I'd love you to. Going to a very good cause. I just wanted to show you one more thing. That was my Facebook page for apparently, because I think I had a new apparently about the coffee debacle. Apparently. No, it's not grouped, it's just apparently. Apparently. Oh, it's apparently dot space. Somebody has to group. I was going to apparently, but I don't think it's going to be mine. Apparently. No, dot space. Someone called Stephanie Stewart. Hello, Stephanie Stewart. She's got a Facebook page called Apparently. That's cool. And she's got lots of black makeup around her eyes. Here we go. Here it comes. So apparently is where it's another funny thing that I do. I'll show you another couple as well, actually, while I'm at it, just as we're signing out here. Another 10 minutes or so. Can you manage that? So apparently is where I invite you. Well, based on what I do, I'm writing these things. I start with apparently, and then I write something. So the point is there's something kind of ironic or something about it. And there it is. This is the latest one. Apparently, I didn't need caffeine after all. A week of severe headaches as a parting shot, and I'm good to go. So I try to throw in some sort of comment on life, the universe, and everything, bit of irony, bit of humor, whatever comes to my mind. And stuff does come to my mind, you know. Stuff's come to my mind for the last 1 hour and 50 minutes. And I always end up thinking, how did you talk for an hour and for 2 hours? Have you got verbal diarrhea? Are you saying anything interesting? Should I carry on? Should I stop? It's really quite strange, and I'm not sure what's going on. But as long as I feel, you know, pushed to do it, I'll do it. I listen to a guy on Sunday evenings, after me, actually, not at the same time. Can you imagine? Excuse me. And he talks for 2 hours about stuff, you know. So I thought, if he can do it, I'm going to do it too. I'm about creativity, productivity, life, the universe, and everything, and the curious craziness of life. I'll show you some curious bits of life in a second. So this is apparently, yeah. So my God, I thought, you know, that coffee, it gave me headaches for 4 days. I'm going to stick this out. It's not going to beat me, and I stopped. It's funny because when I gave up booze, I mean, I've got the feeling that was far more serious than coffee, because you can drink coffee and still remain vaguely human and not sort of, you know, split up relationships and stuff. And yet I don't remember headaches when I gave up booze. I gave up booze for my 50th birthday. Actually, I didn't give it up. I gave it up for the day after my 50th birthday. I thought, damn it, I'm going to enjoy my 50th birthday, enjoy in inverted commas, and then I'll give up. So I actually gave up on the day after my 50th birthday. And I don't remember this these headaches, these unbelievable, nasty headaches. And I had 4 days of them. So yeah. And the one before it, maybe you've seen that or not. It's also available in a rainbow-free version for color-conscious souls. I put there. Yeah. In fact, I put them into color for the lockdown to make things a bit happier. Because my idea was start a website where there's no color for once in your life. And I did, but then I kind of got withdrawal symptoms. So I started adding bits of color in. So this is a good exercise. Do something funny like this. If you're a creative person, are you a creative person? Yeah, you. Are you a creative person? Do you consider yourself to be creative? Do you have an area in which you like being creative? Do you feel that you would like to be more creative in that area, or are you happy with the way things are? Okay. Well, I kind of give myself challenges to make myself be more explicitly creative. And this is one of them. I took a word and I thought, wouldn't it be fun to write sentences or thoughts starting with this word? For some reason that appealed to me. I don't know why. And this is number 106, you see. So it's fun. And every now and then I'll have one. And I had a new one on my chips and my crisps and ice cream. Anyway, it hasn't been written yet. It's just so yeah, that's fun, isn't it? As well. And you can just make comments like on life, the universe, and everything, as if you know something, or as if. The funny thing is, the apparently lets me off the hook because it's not me saying it. It's apparently. In other words, somebody told me that. Some people think that, so it's not me. It's it's apparently. I can say that none of this has got anything to do with me at all. Apparently, mystics claim to be able to think of absolutely nothing. But who's doing the non-thinking? Because are you still there if you stop thinking? I mean, thinking linked to sort of input from your senses. If you stop sensing and you stop thinking, are you still there? Or have you sort of, I can't make a sound, poof, evaporated into nothingness until you have another thought? Is it possible to not think? Interesting stuff. And who is doing the thinking? That's the most interesting question. Who's doing the thinking? Who's having the thoughts? You might wonder where they come from, but you can also wonder who's watching the thoughts, who's seeing the thought come and seeing it go. That's the most interesting question of all. And that's something I will talk about in Infinity Bites. Infinity Bites is the name of the section, the category of articles on lazypig.com, which is about life, the universe, and everything. There you go. And so I've looked at burnt paw, and I've looked at apparently. Should we do one more? Let's do one more. That might push me to do some others. Apparently, choosing between making a difficult decision or not is a little trickier than it seems. And this is a little trickier than it seems as well, because it's not saying making a difficult decision is tricky. It says choosing between making a difficult decision or not is a little trickier than it seems. Because if you've got a decision to make, but you could delegate it to somebody else, you're choosing whether to make a decision or not. Do you see what I mean? But choosing to make the decision yourself or to put it to somebody else is another choice, isn't it? And in a way, you're doing the same thing. You're still choosing to make the decision or not. So that comes to the question of, do we really make decisions or not? And do we have any free will? Do you have any free will in life or not? Can we actually decide to do anything? I like the idea that, which intrigued me, of when you make a decision, did you make it? How do you know you made it? Because you might think you made it, but how do you make it? How do you make it? where does the making it come from? Where does the decision making? You might think you decided, but what seems to happen is that at some point in time, you are aware that the decision has been made, that you've chosen one or the other. But can you really get to the root of the decision being made? Or is it just you suddenly get a feeling of decisions being made? It's very, very tricky to go back and back. You go back to, yes, but before and before, and you end up realizing that you arrive at some very, very strange place indeed, where you're not sure what's going on. The ultimate thing is, if you're such a great decision maker, or if you're so able to make decisions in your life, do you think you actually made the decision to be born? Or did you come into being at birth? Were you not anything or anywhere at that point? So, if you can't even decide to be born, how can you make any other decisions? Or they're all based on the non-decision that you were born, which wasn't yours, doesn't seem to be yours. So it's very interesting, doesn't it? That again is fodder for infinity bites, life, the universe, and everything, and hot buttered croissant as well, by the way. Anyway, these are all ideas floating around in the ether. I'm not bouncing them off anybody because nobody's doing any bouncing right now. The reason you might not be able to comment is because you have to be watching this Infinite Creativity Sabinar on facebook.com/sabparis. That's where you need to be for me to see your comments. Okay, you'll know for next time. And I'll finish by showing you a little side project, which I really haven't done much at all on for a while. It seemed like a good idea at the time, but in fact, it's sort of withered away. But it's still there. It's a nutty kind of little project. Where is it? See if I can find it. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so I've got a page. I even put a group up for it, and it's called the. This is pure nonsense, but it's kind of funny, and it's called. If it would like to make an appearance, here we are. It's called Blue Room. Blue Room. So I decided at some point, for reasons which are best left a little mysterious at the moment, to create a website called Blue Room. And oh look, I'm even live there. Hello. And that's well, I was looking for some content actually. Well, let me look at the page itself. Oh, I've actually lost. That's interesting. I've lost a little. I know what I do. There we go. Yeah, so I actually created a website called Blue Room, and it was for everything blue. What about that? Everything blue. What a ridiculous idea. I thought, yeah, let's take a color, nice color, and create a website about it. And it's to celebrate the color blue in all its wonderful. It could even be, songs about blue. It could even be poems about blue, but I did want mainly to be blue. So the idea is I publish a blue photograph regularly, and there was the one that was the photo of the day for that particular day. I must get back to it. It was really fun, and I started organizing there. It's explaining what the Blue Room is, a fun side project by Paris artist and photo chronicler Sab Will, but above all, simply a beautiful place to celebrate all that is best in blue. Do you like blue? What's your favorite color? Blue Room, Sab Gallery contact. You see, it's pretty much in its sort of nascent stages there. I displayed other people's blue things as well. I don't think there's any photographs here. I'm just checking. Oh, that's something wrong has happened there. That should be a different font. That's a bit about me talking about blue. Oh, it's a lovely blue though. Look at that blue. My God, lovely. And okay, so here's the gallery as such. So all the blue themed pieces I've added to the Blue Room so far. There's no rhyme nor reason here. The only connection between them is, of course, oh, did you guess? They're all linked to blue in some way or other. Enjoy this festival of the most beautiful color out there and contribute your own new blue creations at any time. There you go. You can even join the Facebook. The funny thing is I started the Facebook group called Blue Room, and I started getting very, very strange people asking to join. Can you guess why? Well, I've got a feeling it might be linked to a certain naughtiness. You know, blue in the old days used to be a word for sort of naughty photographs and stuff. Bad words. So I get strange people asking to join. I mean, nothing's going on there at the moment, but it exists, and it might be fun one day. But it exists. I created it. I got it out there, and then it's leading its life. So look, I started displaying them like this. Look at this. So it's in a grid of 9. Surprise, surprise. And it could be paintings. It could be photographs with blue. Look at this wonderful painting from my friend Claudia. It could be a song, Blue Jeans by Lana Del Rey. That should be a part of my musical mystery tour at some point. Then there's more photographs with blue and stuff like that. You see, the Raconteurs, Blue Veins, great song. That'll be one of my tunes of the day as well, probably. So there you go. Yet another way where I found this kind of funny thing, this 9 grid thing, and I'm slotting into that all my stuff, all my crazy ideas and things. And it's a thing to do. It's something to do. So I would recommend you trying out things like that. It's fun. It's fun and keeps the creative juices flowing. And there you go. So that's been me for the last 2 hours. How about that? I've talked to myself for 2 hours, and I've eaten yogurt. I've shown you that I can not drop Xander's juggling balls for up to 7 or 9 shots, 9 throws. The thing is to focus more on the throwing than the catching. I'm convinced that that's what it comes down to. Because when I remember to throw, the catching almost happens automatically. It's a very strange thing. You know, something's vaguely going that way and you vaguely stick your hand out and it seems to land in your hand, like the way you can catch a ball. You see the ball coming to you, you put your hand up to catch it, but you don't look at your hand to make sure it goes into your hand, but it does go into your hand. It's a bit like this. You know, I mean, how often do you stab yourself in the face with a fork these days? You're like, dum-de-dum, oh God! Yeah, it probably doesn't happen very often, right? But you're not looking to make sure the spoon's going into your mouth. And that's the same with catching. And it's probably the same with any endeavor. Practice a bit and you'll get better. And that's what's happening with the juggling. That's what happened with me putting spoons into my mouth. I haven't taken out too many teeth recently. And that's what happens with everything. That's what happens with something you want to get good at. It's what happens with... should I put that there? Should I leave that there or not? I know, I'll leave my... I'll leave this thing here. My new poster that I created yesterday. Yeah, how's that? That's too big. Yeah, so it's the same with anything. You do it and you get better. And I'll say something just to finish with, which is something I say often. And it's really important because some people still don't get it. And I think I mentioned it in one of my new lazybig.com articles or somewhere. If you want to get experienced at something, if you want to get competent at something, if you want to get confident at something, you've just got to do the thing that you're not confident in or not competent in or not experienced in. It's that simple. I mean, if not being confident worries you, look at it in terms of, so if not being confident worries you, don't look at it from that point of view. Look at it from the point of view of not being experienced. You're not experienced. How can you be experienced until you've done it a lot? It's not possible. A lot of people, and this comes back to qualifications, which was what I was talking about at the beginning as well. The funny thing about qualifications is right up until you get the qualification, which, you know, by the name suggests you're qualified to do something. Because can you be qualified in something without being qualified to do something? Doesn't really make sense. So theoretically, you're qualified to do something. That's what a qualification is, isn't it? But how can you be right up until the second you've got the qualification, you're not qualified. Right up until the second, you're not qualified. So you know, it doesn't mean anything. A qualification doesn't mean anything. If you've got the qualification, but 1 second ago you didn't have it, then what's the difference between being unqualified and qualified? It's just a piece of paper. The only way you can be qualified in the sense of experienced in doing something is by doing the thing. The only way you can get competent at something is by doing the thing, i.e. good. The only way to get good at something is by doing it again and again and again. The only way you can get confident is by doing the thing, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, seeing what makes you fall off the bike, seeing what makes you stay on the bike. And it may not be something you can do consciously. You may have to, you know, your brain works out what angle you have to be at when you turn so you don't fall off, doesn't it, on the bike? So it's just, you just got to accept it and go with it, and the brain will work it out. You know, I mean, I started juggling these things. I told you at the beginning, and I even showed you once, I think, I had a 100% failure rate in throwing these things up in the air and catching them, 100%. And now I can throw them up to 10 times. I can throw something up to 10 times without dropping them. Then I drop them. And maybe next week it'll be 15, who knows? I didn't get to the point of being able to throw them 10 times without dropping them by not throwing them. So you don't get to be a good writer without writing. So join my writing group and write every day, even if it's a line. You don't get to be a good photographer or a competent one, or one that produces photos that make you happy and that, like other people, make more and more other people happy, if that's your aim. And it's a kind of a sign that you're getting better. You don't get to be a good photographer without taking photographs. You don't get to be a good anything without doing something. So that's it. That's my thing, which I repeat quite often. I think it's worth it. And it's as much for me as for anyone else. That's why I do the same thing. I'm moving now towards doing the same thing over and over again. But it's something I love. It's not work, because I love it. Even the boring bits, there are theoretically boring bits in the creative stuff that I produce. Some, you know, little computer manipulations, unbelievably banal and monotonous. But they're part of my thing. They're part of my creation. And it almost can be treated as a kind of mini meditation. There's this thing I do where I have to do the same thing like about 9 times in a row with about 5 different operations, like changing the size of a picture, sharpening it, moving something, putting it there, changing its name, saving it. There's nothing creative in that. But it's part of my creative process. Without that, I wouldn't be creating the pictures. Those 2 pictures you can see there. Those needed what I just explained to you to exist. They're part of, those little pieces are part of the creative process. The thing is, for me, to be able to create a finished thing often enough and in short enough a time span that I don't go crazy through frustration, because I need to get stuff out there fast on a daily basis. For you, it might be different. It might be much longer. It might be, you know, you might be able to work on a book for a year without needing to get anything out there and get some feedback on it. It's possible, you know, people writing novels takes a year sometimes. Or you might have a times, you know, like a frustration, what's the word? The time before you get frustrated and irritated and not finishing might be a week or a month. I don't know. Mine's very short. There's some things I'm okay in it being longer, but most things, that's why I focus now on short articles and single photographs. But they're part of a bigger thing. So whilst I'm producing small things on a regular basis, I'm also building a bigger thing, which could be like writing a page of a book. You write a page a day, make the page the thing. The page is the thing. I'm going to do my page today. I did my page today, yes! And you just keep doing that, and the book will write itself. So there you go. I invite you to join my wonderful sister groups, Smartphone Photography Group, blog and article group. Join Today's the Day as well. That's really, really fun and very motivating. And if you want to have a 1 hour pure creative coaching session to help you with your creativity, if you're a dynamic, if you're an ambitious creative person, but you'd like to see what's happening with your creativity and how you could, boost it, understand it better, boost it, be more creative. This is a complimentary session that I've decided to offer. So I get to know you better, you get to know me better, and it's completely obligation free to the extent that there's no talk of money or sales or anything at all, and we say bye-bye, because the two don't go well together. The creative, it's a pure 1 hour pure creative coaching session, and then we know each other, and whatever will happen. And the two don't mix, so that's what it is. That's what I'm doing. I'm excited about that. So if you're interested in that, get in touch and we can do it. Okay, that's it for now. I will say bye. Oh, I really have gone. Hey, should I put that back up there? Yeah. So it's been the Infinite Creativity 𝗧𝗪 once again with me, Sab, in Paris, hoping to incite you to be as creative as you can, because I really do think that creativity, creating interesting things on a regular basis is a wonderful way to lead a worthwhile, enriching and generous life. And that's what I seem to be about at the moment. I'll see you same time, same place next week, if all goes according to plan. Take part in all or any of the activities that I play around with in the Facebook groups and stuff, and I hope the current situation is treating you well too. Thanks again, and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.